Educating Manchester's wildest episode is insane.
A lot of similarities between Hitler and Trump, yeah?
But Trump's got better hair than him.
Can't.
Right.
It's wicked, yeah.
How did you feel when Syria started getting bombed?
Hello you gorgeous owner. Today we're going to be covering the most viewed episode of Educating Manchester that's ever aired. I believe it's the most viewed one because it's definitely the wildest. I promise you that you will cry by the end of this video. If you've never seen this show before, basically a production team follows the dramatic lives of teachers and students at Harropfold School in Manchester. Literally with these shows, nothing is cut, so you see every single drama that happens. So let's just get into it. The episode starts off with us getting to know Mr. Povey, who's the head teacher at Harropfold School and also a full-time legend. I love that man. We also find out that both his brothers also work at this school as teachers.
Ross was here first. I came second, Ben came third.
Morning, folks. How you doing? Good, mate, good.
I'm sorry, but is that not like the cutest thing ever? Like, the entire family works as teachers. They're just devoted to raising the youth. What a family! What a blood gene that is. Also, they must like slag off all the students at like every single family function they have. That's like their time to just be like, fucking Daniel, absolute prick, isn't he? Can't believe him. I always wondered if I was like mentioned in a conversation where the teachers were like slagging someone off. I really hope that I was.
There he is, the lad. Ben. How we doing, my man?
I'm alright, mate, alright.
Look at the man. Who needs the Jackson 5 when you've got the Povey 3? That's what I'm saying. We then learn that all three of these brothers are trying to turn the school around as it's in special measures, and it's also situated in one of the most deprived areas of Manchester. And judging by how the teachers act, it's no surprise that the school might be failing.
You think you're attractive, but you got saggy tits. I don't want to go near you because you've got nits.
Alright, chill out, Central C. Hopefully H doesn't diss her. Bloody hell. Right? It's like listening to Cardi B over here. Can you calm down, love? There's kids to teach. This teacher is actually called Miss Bland, and she's a student support teacher. She kind of concentrates on students that are new to the school. And her day starts off with talking to a student called Ronnie, who has recently arrived from Syria. And he's upset about something.
There's a boy called Caden pushed me and swear
What was the swear word he used?
everything.
Everything? What? Like all the Infinity Stones are swear words? Who is this Caden? Who raised this boy? Everyone? My lord.
I went in queue, he came and kicked me.
What lesson is he in now?
You can tell, obviously, Ronnie's quite nervous as English is his second language. Can you imagine how hard that must be? Like, he's a child and he's gone to a brand new country and this is his second language and he's literally at school just trying to kind of create a life for himself and he's getting kicked all over. Like, that must genuinely be horrific. It's horrific for anyone, but especially somebody that's just come to this, like, foreign country. Miss Bland then brings in the student that's been bullying Ronnie.
Get that chair. Is this the young man?
Yeah.
So, over the past few weeks...
Ah, knew it. Can't judge a book by its cover, can you? Joking. I'm taking the piss. I don't know what he's even done.
Were you playing a game?
Yeah, I was playing a game.
What was the game you were playing?
I think it was football. And I think yeah.
Playing a game, were you? What, they kick someone in the leg until they tell off your game? That's a fun one. Bullshit, Caden. We then find out that Ronnie actually came to the school in the last half term, and since arriving, he hasn't made one single friend.
In school, I'm a little bit sad.
Oh, mate. I can't. No, I can't. Genuinely, by the end of this episode, I feel like I'm going to be in tears. This actually really gets to us. What do you mean? He's in year 7 and he hasn't made a single friend yet. What? Why does no one want to be his friend? Why? He's alright. Look at him. Oh, not a single. This just reminds us of me.
Sometimes I can't understand what they're saying, and I can't speak the same language.
This must be so difficult for him because obviously, like, people have already kind of got their friendship groups. Like, if you join late in the year, never mind. Like, even if you're from England and you join a new school, it's still hard to kind of get in with a friendship group. Could you imagine right now you just went to somewhere like, I don't know, Poland, and then you've got to try and be friends with people, but you don't know the Polish crack? People making jokes about cutlet shabawi? You don't know what the hell that is. Mr. Povey then says that the amount of students from overseas that has come to Harropfold is actually quadrupled over the last year, and apparently this can cause some friction between the students.
You can get that person in your year or any other year that's just like, oh, they're terrorists or something, or they're going to do something bad.
Bro, who's saying that? That is not a friend. What? You're saying that to a child? Literally a year 7 child?
When people come in, they get housing benefits and all that. They get paid more than we do. But I think at the end of the day, we're all in one boat.
It's so interesting to see like kids talk about this sort of thing, especially kids that are like in year 7, because they kind of just echo what they hear their parents say. Like, you know, like they will have their own views on certain things, but obviously like you just have a much better perspective of the world the older you get. So I think especially when you're in year 7, it's very clear to see like what certain people's parents' beliefs are and how that's kind of translated into their kids. We then see our first lesson where the students are kind of telling the other students a bit about themselves.
Harry, do you want to do your all about me? Tell them about the martial arts like you do.
Low block, punch, switch, 1.
Well done.
God, he's hard as fuck, isn't he? Christ, don't wanna mess with him. The 1, 2, 3 number. Absolute bastard. Look at him standing there. I admire that confidence though. Like, imagine doing that in front of like a whole classroom of people. I could never. Like, some kids are just so confident. It's so good to see. I just hated myself at this age. Still do, to be fair. Right, relatable. Miss Pierce, the person taking this lesson, says that Ronnie is really shy and he's nervous and he really lacks self-confidence, and she's constantly trying to like push him out of his comfort zone.
Because when I've been 4 years old, they start to bomb Syria. Some people are fighting and getting guns out.
See him in the front row. He's like, well, all right, mate, trying to steal all me thunder. Right, I've just showed everyone me karate moves. Now you're just talking about how your home was getting bombed. Right, all right, it's not all about you. God. It's crazy because obviously Ronnie has been through like something that, you know, even like 99% of adults won't go through. Like, this child has been through a lot of trauma. So like it kind of makes sense why he is very shy, even though he is in a different country, which is another reason why he would be shy. But he's probably dealing with a lot of emotions and he probably, you know, definitely doesn't know how he feels about them. So it's really good for like Miss Pierce to kind of, you know, push him out of his comfort zone so he can talk about like what he's been through, so he can kind of process it, because the only way you can kind of process these things is like by talking about it.
How did you feel when Syria started getting bombed?
Christ! What a question, though. Oh yeah, I felt mint, mate. You know, it was exactly what I wanted after I had me tea. How do you think he felt? Not the best.
When I go to school, sometimes is come people and shouting and fighting.
Is there like a certain religion that you have to have there?
Islam.
Like weird dance like that.
Do you know what? I actually think it's really nice that the other kids are like putting their hands up and trying to learn about him. Because then, like, it just makes them feel more involved, and it'll make them feel, like, quite good that people are showing, like, interest in him, because since he's come to this school, it seems like nobody's been that interested in getting to know him. I'm just hoping that this is kind of the first step into him feeling more comfortable at this school, because it's just horrific that nobody wants to speak to him. Like, can you imagine him at just break time, just standing there by himself? Oh, it actually breaks me heart. Miss Pierce then introduces Ronnie to Murad, who's also been through a similar experience to what Ronnie has, so he's got someone in the school to kind of look up to or go to for guidance, to know that he's not alone.
You were in the middle of the trouble in Syria, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm Kurdish, you know, like I speak Kurdish at home.
No, do you speak Arabic at home?
Yeah.
This will be so nice for like Ronnie, because he knows that like somebody else is like, you know, made it in this school and is actually like happy being at this school. Somebody that literally joined in year 7 like him from the same place. Like, could you imagine you have to go to school in a brand new country in year 7 and then you see someone in an older year who's been through the exact same experience as you? It instantly would make you just feel a bit more comfortable. We then learn a little bit more about Murad and his story.
How did you get out of Syria?
With the boat to Cyprus.
What was that like?
It's fast. Jumping on the water. It was at night.
Do you know, when you hear stuff like this, especially with like kids this young, it just makes you realise like how mental it actually is what some people have to go through. Like, without even like talking about this politically or anything like that, just looking at these people as like actual people, what they are. Clearly, back home, something has like scared the shite out of them, which is the reason why they fled on a boat to get to some like safety. And having shows as big as this on like, you know, national television, just, I think it does help to like, you know, people that necessarily wouldn't, you know, be open to like listening, or like forced to kind of listen to people and realize like the things these people actually go through. By the way, the questions that this interviewer asks some of these people is just so cutthroat, and I feel like, you know, they should at least like, I hope they've asked them prior to filming if they can ask these questions.
Where's your dad?
I don't know.
Do you think he's alive?
Oh, come on, man. Christ. Jesus. He's just opened up to you, like, very heavily, and you can see in his eyes, he's hurt you. Don't ask him a question like that. Like, what are you doing? Be a little bit empathetic, at least. You can see, like, he's very clearly upset by this. And the fact he's having to answer this question in front of the nation, you know, is even more of, like, an emotional, like, standpoint for him. The interviewer's given, like, you know, that horrible brother Harry Potter has in the movies. It's just giving them vibes. Where's your mum, Potter? Is she dead? Like, what are you doing? This is the deepest episode we've covered yet. I'm going to need some tissues for this one. Murad then says to Ronnie, basically, that if anybody bullies him, just come to him and he'll sort them out. He's like the godfather of Hereford. Honestly, if I was Ronnie, I'd be thinking Murad's so cool.
حدا مثلا بيأذيك أو شيء إذا قاعد تعال عندي ماشي. I'm not gonna watch someone kick him and like bully him.
Go on, son. That's what I'm talking about. Can't get bullied by someone called Caden. Come on, time to fight back. But I think this is the first step for Ronnie to kind of integrate himself into, you know, the society of the school, hopefully. It's just so sad because they show various shots of Ronnie just walking in the school playground and people are trying to intimidate him for no reason. Oh, you little shit. Let's have a take. Let me get a good look at this, lad. Him! What you doing trying to intimidate our Ronnie? Get away with your forward hairline. I'm taking the piss out of a kid here. You know what? I don't care. Like, why would you do that? Like, he's literally just trying to walk. You absolute, like, that's, like, evil. You know he talks to nobody, so why are you trying to, like, be, like, it hard in front of him? Oh, this is, like, so infuriating. After this, we get introduced to somebody called Jack, who I promise will make you cry by the end of this video.
I can see it's difficult for him.
Where'd you come from? Syria. Syria? Yeah.
When he went, I'm from Syria, I actually, like, took a step back because I didn't expect it would come out.
Oh, my God. Oh, he's just so sweet. Oh, my, like, the fact this kid's in year 7, like, what is he, like, 12? And, like, the language he's using, oh, when I seen him, I took a step back. I couldn't believe it. Oh, he's so sweet. The fact he's even just asking him questions, like, Ronnie will, like, appreciate that. Like, the fact someone's come up and is, like, actually interested in him and isn't trying to, like, intimidate him for just being there.
We've heard it on newses and what they're going through now is, like, from my point of view, it's not the best of countries.
You can see how empathetic Jack is straight away, and for, like, a child to be this empathetic, like, his mom should be so proud of him. I would hope that when I have a child, he would, like, be the one to act in this way if he sees, like, another student going through a difficult time. He's like, he would go out his way to be there for him, because school's such a toxic environment, and if, like, somebody's seen as not cool, like, there can be, like, a herd mentality where, like, you just don't talk to that person. So for somebody like Jack to just kind of do what he wants and, like, be a decent human being, that takes a lot of guts, even though it's such a basic thing.
I think he will have a good life over here, Ron. Definitely.
Oh, brother, what? Are you taking the piss? No. Oh, it's going. I can see the glint in my eye. There we go. Oh, what do you mean he's gonna have a good life over here? You're gonna give him a good life over here, Jack. The show then takes, like, a really quick turn, and we witness, like, a wild conversation that's taking place in one of the classrooms.
There's a lot of similarities between Hitler and Trump, yeah?
But Trump's got better hair than him. I've got to say that.
I don't think it does.
I mean, now we're on the topic of conversation. You know what? This is something I've never had to think about. Who had a better trim? Trump? I don't even think I can say that in a video. I mean, if I had to choose one trim, I'd probably go with Trump's. It's like choosing two men to steal your wife here. Yeah, I'll go with that one. Imagine having all that power and choosing them trims. That's up there with one of the worst things they did. We then get a quick cutscene of Jack asking the teacher if they've ever been to Benidorm.
He's never been Benidorm.
Look at
Benidorm's sick, mate.
This kid is not 12 years old. I'm sorry. This is some sort of, like, Benjamin Button shit going on here. That is a 40-year-old man trapped in a 12-year-old's body. What do you mean he's just standing there going, what? You've never been to Benidorm? You're joking. You've never seen Sticky Vicky on stage. You've never lived, son. Never. You've never been to the Star Wars sex show at 3 a.m. God, you've never lived, fella. Never lived. Watching Darth Vader and Princess Leia go at it on segways. That is actually a thing in Benidorm. Google it. Actually, don't Google it. Don't traumatize yourself. Don't ask us how I know as well. Okay, I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about. What? Moving on. Also, Princess Leia and Darth Vader, like, that's his daughter. I've just realised that. That's horrific. What? Why was that happening? Nothing like some incestual porn at 3 AM to get you going. Sorry, I don't cut that out of context. That'll not end well for us. And it's in this lesson you can really see that Jack's trying to make sure that Ronnie is okay at all times.
Come on, Ronnie.
After Cogs, Ronnie is meeting up with his new friend Jack.
Do you know how you can tell that Ronnie's like hard as fuck as well? Is he walks around school without a bag. That's how you knew who the cool hard kids were. The ones that just turned up without any items. Oh, I'll just get them when I'm there. Alright. Fucking hell, you've seen some shit, haven't you? The ones that just put everything in their blazer. They're walking as if they've got like a cargo blazer. Those are the kids you've got to watch out for. Those are the kids that you don't turn your back to.
Jack is very kind and helpful.
Jack, you are actually the sweetest person ever. If you're watching this video, I hope life has given you the best life you possibly could have had.
Be there for people when they need to. It's just normal for people to do that.
That's the thing. Like, Jack's not actually doing anything, like, extraordinary here. He's just being, like, a basic, nice human being. But in this school, apparently, that's just not the going thing. Just quickly, guys, I want to say, if you haven't already, why have you not pressed the subscribe button? What are you doing? I'm not moving until you press it. Go on. Join the donuts. I'll wait. Don't you worry about that. Done it? Great, let's get back to the video. Ronnie then feels comfortable enough to tell Jack that he's being bullied by somebody, so Jack starts to ask him questions about it.
What year is you? Year 7. Come on, we'll go outside and then if we see him, I'll speak to him.
Year 7, is he? Right, how about we'll go outside, batter him now, come on. Let's fucking get him, Ronnie. Go on, Jack, son.
Why don't you try and get up and bang him? Give him a swift red button and Jack. Yeah, like that.
Why didn't you just get up and bang him? Oh, the class, man. I think it is a lot more difficult for, like, especially, you know, students that are from, like, a different country. Like, I feel like, Jack, if somebody did this to him, or, like, me in school, if somebody did this to you, you would just retaliate and not really think about the consequences of your actions. But I've got friends from minorities that say, like, they have to, like, overthink everything. Like, even if they act, like, a little bit badly, it's, like, overstated so much. So Ronnie's probably been told by his parents to just be on his best behaviour, and that's why he feels like he can't kind of stand up for himself. I'm not saying that's, like, the main reason, but I'm just saying that could be a factor as to why he's kind of letting these people do these things to him. Especially when, like, some people at this school will already have, like, a certain mindset built up about people like Ronnie. If he, like, retaliates and, like, hits that person back, that's just, like, stupidly confirming in their minds their pre-beliefs. I mean, I said earlier that I would react by, you know, hitting them back. I probably wouldn't. If somebody tripped me over, I'd probably go to the toilet and cry and then go home and just sit in a pitch black room and listen to Little Peep. To be fair, that just sounds like a normal day for me at school. Moving on. We then get introduced to Kirkham, who is a friend of Murad, and he's been on a similar journey to Murad in school. And just recently, somebody in his year has made a joke about him.
The boys have just heard that another year 10 has made a joke about Quran.
They call you something like Osama bin Laden. You come here.
Bro, why is it always somebody that looks like they just live on, like, Call of Duty Black Ops? Like, why is it that person that you just know in a Call of Duty Black Ops lobby, they're saying some shit?
Who did you call? Who did you call? Who did you call?
That kid absolutely shit his pants. He's like, what? Call? What? I don't know who Call is. Sorry, mate.
As a friend, we joke about, oh, you're almost like you get on my country, but we're joking, you know. But if some other guy just says the jokes, we'll have a problem with it.
I mean, like, if he's not involved in the joke, then it's not funny. Like Murad said, like, they're in a friendship group, they can joke about that even though they're from different countries and, like, not get offended. If they're happy with that, that's fine, but you've done it to insult them because it seems like you're not even friends with them. Even if you were friends with them, being a white person, it's still just, like, really bad to say that.
Whatever call me is racist, yeah? Understand it or not? Yeah. You're gonna do it.
I mean, that definitely is one way to handle it. That kid will never say anything like that ever again. He was given, like, Simon off the In-Betweeners. Oh, sorry, Kirkham. Sorry, my neck's in your hand, Kirkham. This is the most brutal episode of Educating Manchester of any educating video we've done yet. Like, this is just really deep. But it's totally understandable why he would act that way. Some people might think it seems over the top that he's just reacted to that one comment, but I imagine in school he's had comment after comment after comment, and then he's just had enough. Kirkham then gets pulled into Mr. Handoui's office to talk about what's just happened.
Trust me, I know people are going to say stupid things, Yeah, I've been there. You have to ignore them. And I know you might be looking at other people and they think, oh, they're going to think I'm a wimp if I don't do anything. Oh, they're going to think I'm weak if I don't do something about it. It doesn't matter what the people think.
Now, obviously, this is something that I just don't have the best perspective on because I haven't been subject to comments like this. So people in the comments that, you know, have been subject to comments like this, you'll know the best kind of point of action to take with this. But these are very two contrasting ways of dealing with it. Obviously, Kirkham, like, physically, just kind of confronted the person about it. Whereas the teacher says that you need to ignore it and just kind of not let it affect you. Honestly, like, I don't know which is the best way to kind of handle it because it must be so hard to just kind of not let that phase you, especially when it's from people that you don't know and it's like obviously derogatory towards you. Surely you should be able to retaliate. Mr. Povey then pulls both the students in to kind of squash the beef.
How do you think that makes somebody feel when they're likened to a world terrorist just because of the colour of their skin or their origin or anything else?
Felt proper saddened and annoyed.
I mean, you can tell from his face that he actually does feel bad about saying it. Doesn't take away from the fact that he's really hurt Geraint's feelings and that'll stay with him for a long time. And hopefully, like, him getting told off at an early age for saying that shifts his, like, mentality in the future. Moving on, Ronnie gets told that he's now graduated from the current class he was in into, like, the mainstream population of school. And his reaction is so sweet.
We sort of decided that maybe it's time to transition. Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, that's actually horrific, man. That's so sad. I'm crying. What? What? That's actually the saddest thing ever. Why am I crying mid-video? The fact he just burst out crying just because this a simple thing of just graduating from the starter class. Do you realise how, like, sweet that is? Like, all he wants is to just feel like he's a part of the community at school. This is so nice. Oh my god.
Ronnie, there's just one last thing. Get out.
Look, I'm brought tears all over your book now.
Oh, this show is just class, isn't it? Just absolute class. We're actually going to see where Ronnie is today at the end of this video, so stick around for that. Ronnie then gets his first lesson in the mainstream population of school, and all of his lessons are with Jack, luckily.
What does mean saliva?
It means when someone has no rights. I'll come to your house and sleep. I'll be the slave. Oh, right.
Jack's so sweet. Like, you know, when Ronnie doesn't really understand, like, a concept, he'll, like, break it down into something that Ronnie would, like, you know, easier to digest for him. He's kind of acting like a student support teacher as well, like, even though he's a student himself. Like, this guy, honestly, is like an adult in a child's body. I know I keep saying that, but he's just such a sweet soul. We then see Ronnie messing around with Jack and his mates, and it's, like, really nice to see him kind of just doing, like, normal things as a lad would do. So he just has to say fuck. Well, at least he tried. He's getting there. Fuck. Maybe that's on purpose. Maybe he doesn't. He's just trying to allude to what he actually wants to say.
He's getting out. He's getting out.
They're absolutely creased. Why is it like the funniest thing ever in school where someone draws like a spunking cock on a whiteboard or something? Like, why is that the thing that just makes you absolutely crease? It's still funny today. I don't know why. Like, it's not funny at all. I think that's what makes it funny. Like, are you telling me if there's a spunking cock on the board, I'm not gonna laugh? Like, I'm only human. How many cocks are on there?
Oh, look at Mr. Povey.
Mr. Povey to Benny receiving, or Mr. Chambers?
Sorry, surely, as like a teacher, you've just got to look at that and laugh. Like, how do you keep your composure? Like, looking at the back of that fan, I would just look at it and be like, I'd throw my own on. I'd be like, might as well add to it, you know? It's so funny because Mr. Povey says that the students that drew something on the back of this van have to hand themselves in. And Ronnie, being like so sweet, just says, oh, well, I might as well just give myself up. And Jack's like begging him not to do it.
Ronnie, you didn't draw it. You didn't even draw it.
Ronnie would be terrible at Among Us. Just self-reporting for days. Can you imagine him and the traitors? Gone in the first round.
Everyone in this room better have their eyes glued to mine for this whole conversation. Your eyes come off mine and there's big trouble.
Look at him on the front, man, trying not to laugh. He's like... The fact they're all in here just because they drew spunking cocks on the back of a van.
Do you have any idea what those people will be thinking of this school? Thinking of you.
Especially you. I saw the one you drew. Too much detail, son. Too much. What's everyone gonna think? Oh, let's go to Harrop Fold, the school where all the students draw spunking cocks. No one's gonna want to come. Oh, where's that van going? Has it got spunking cocks on the back? Must be going to Harrop Fold.
You write a letter of apology, and it better be perfect. And these better be the best letters I have ever seen in my life.
I've seen the details of your drawings. I want the same detail in your handwriting. Also, what are they writing on this piece of paper? Like, I will not draw willies. I will not draw willies. I will not draw willies on the back of vans. The show then takes a really deep and serious turn as it covers the events of the Manchester bombing, you know, the Ariana Grande concert, because I believe this happened at the time of filming. Now, you might think this is a bit left field for a show like Educating Manchester, where they don't really kind of, you know, talk about outside things happening. They kind of just concentrate on what's happening internally in the schools. But because this entire episode has been centered around integrating people into the school's community, this attack, because of the person that did it, is going to bring like negative attention towards a certain community within the Manchester area. As wrong as that is, but just some people just see an attack like that and group every single community like as a part of that, which is just insanely stupid. And I actually think this episode of Educating Manchester might be the most important episode the Educating series has ever dropped, because at a time where I imagine, you know, a certain community are coming under a lot of fire, this episode is showing how good the community is. It's shown it in such a positive light by the 3 students that the episodes decided to focus in on. And it just shows that the acts of these idiots that commit these terrible things don't represent the community as a whole. They're acting alone and just out of their mind. And I just hope this doesn't affect Ronnie, because he's made so much progress and we're actually seeing his personality come out now. Like, he didn't even talk at the start of this episode. Now he's got a friendship group and he's kind of misbehaving and doing well in school. But there is a few sad points after this is brought up in the documentary, as Jack's asked about the attack, and you can see he's trying to like work it out in his head.
Does it make you feel differently about Muslims?
I don't know, because some are nice, polite, always being nice, and some are not right, like idiots.
I just hope that, you know, Jack's perspective doesn't change from the start of this episode, because he was such a welcoming person, and the only way his perspective's going to change is from really, you know, his family, or from just external kind of factors, because he's still trying to develop his perspective as a 12-year-old. But I just don't want the world to kind of like brainwash him into thinking a certain way. It's like when he said some are nice and polite and some aren't. That's just every community. Like, football fans are the worst for that. Like, football fans on Twitter will be like, oh, Arsenal supporters are the worst, like we would never do that. And it's like, well, every single fan base has good supporters and terrible supporters. It's just like every community has good and bad people. Ronnie then has his own interview about it with the production team.
Now the people thinking all the Muslim people are not good. In the future, we're not allowed in this country anymore. That's why I'm worried.
Like, no child should ever have to like say them words that they're worried that they're not going to be allowed to stay in the country that they call home. Like, he's literally 12 years old, and the fact he has to worry about that, like, that's horrific. And obviously, you know, like an attack, I know we're getting very deep here, but obviously, like, you know, a situation like that, what happened in Manchester, is horrific for like the victims of people that have died and the families of victims and everyone that was kind of involved in that. But it's also horrific for like, in this case, the Muslim community, because they're also like getting a lot of shit when they literally would just be at home, not even like nowhere near this thing that has happened. It's so sad to just see how people react to a situation like this. Luckily, this hasn't affected the relationship between Ronnie and Jack, as we then get introduced to Ronnie's dad and Jack's mom, and like the way that they interact is dead nice as well.
Stephanie, I'm alright. Are you alright, love? Yeah.
Are you coming for tea, Ronnie?
I don't know. I was wondering if Ronnie could come for tea tonight.
Where?
At my house.
They have a party or something?
Sorry?
For what?
Just pizza and chips. There we go. Okay then, no problem. Cheers.
That is so sweet. That is so nice. You can tell the dad's very protective of Ronnie. He was like, what, is it your birthday or something? Why do you want your kid to come to your house? But it's just really nice that, you know, like, there is still decent people that exist. Also, I would be fuming, by the way, if I'm Ronnie's dad. I'd be like, could you not have, like, told us about this the day before so I've not come to school to pick you up in the pouring rain? Right, you little bastard.
They'll never not remember that these things have happened.
Have you been round to anyone's house?
In England?
Yeah.
No.
Jack will still be friends with Ronnie. If anything, it makes friendships stronger.
Oh, don't cry. Don't cry. I can feel the goosebumps. You're not going to beat it. Steph, you should be so proud, if you ever watch this, of what the job you've done with Jack, because you've raised such a sweet guy. And also yourself, like, you're smashing it, love.
Thank you for that.
Go on, you'll have to educate me. What does that mean?
Thank you for the food.
You're most welcome. Shall I get rid of these?
Yes, please.
No problem.
This is the most, like, emotional roller coaster show I've ever seen. I feel like I say that quite often, but every single one just keeps raising the bar. Why do I want to cry right now?
He's not like a friend. I think it is brother or
friend life.
Oh. I'm just so happy for them both. They're just two nice kids. The character development from Ronnie in this episode was just so remarkable. Like, the fact he went from, like, just a really shy kid who didn't speak to anyone, and by the end of the episode, he's just, like, got this personality where he's happy and he feels like he's got a brother in Jack. We then get a short update on how the boys are getting on. Murad and his family have been granted refugee status, so they get to stay in the country, which is a great thing. At this point, Ronnie and Jack are about to start year 8 and they're still, like, brothers. Now, I did want to get, like, an update on how they're getting on today, or, like, what they've done since the show, and I did find a few things. So they did actually do an appearance on This Morning because of how popular the dynamic between these two was.
Because he was in the corner by himself, so I thought, as a person, I'll go up to him and ask him, how are you, where are you from? He said Syria, and I took a step back because...
He loves that, doesn't he? So, I took a step back, and then I just started evaluating the situation. He talks like he's on The Apprentice.
When Jack came up to me, I feel something in my heart.
And now you're like,
Oh, the mid-man! The class! In 2021, Jack actually did a fundraiser for a food bank, I found. 16-year-old Jack Stanley wanted to do something to help out people who are struggling in his local area. Using his own money, he put together a chocolate hamper and decided to raffle it off at £2 per ticket. Jack posted this on Facebook, and within 1 hour, all 150 tickets were sold. Jack decided to donate the £300 proceeds to the food bank at Wharton and Clegg's Lane Church. This guy... Bro, it's like the second coming of Jesus at this point. He's just such a kind lad, man. Now, I don't believe Jack posts on Instagram, and I didn't want to, like, do too much deep kind of research if he doesn't really want, like, how he's doing now out there. But I did see that Ronnie, who is verified on Instagram, by the way, go on, son, does follow him on Instagram, so I wonder if they're still friends. Hopefully they are. But Ronnie looks like he's living his best life. In his photos, he looks like he's doing really well, like he's capturing them, stuff like, surround yourself only with people who are going to lift you higher. Too right, sister. That's what I'm talking about. Look at him there with the old BMW, the Audi. All right, somewhere doing all right, son. Taking little influencer pics. So yeah, it's really nice to see that, you know, the lads did end up doing quite well when they got older, because they were both genuinely good people. Anyway, guys, if you want me to continue with this educating series, 5,000 likes on this video, and I will continue with it. If you want to watch a previous episode that I have reacted to, I've got an entire series of this now, basically. Go on a binge watch, go and watch them. Go and enjoy yourself. You deserve it. Bye-bye, donuts.